You know something? I'm more than a gear reviewer. I have a loving wife, kids, a family dog, and an illustrious directing career that has taken me all around the world and won me multiple awards. Or maybe I don't have any of those things. Maybe I've only ever been here in the studio with that wooden owl to keep me company. No sunlight touches these walls. It's cold here. So very cold. So to prove I'm not just the 6K Pro guy and that I don't just review gear, I thought I'd do something completely different. That's right, a gear review of the Rode Wireless Go 2. So let's set the scene. I hate lavalier mics in general. You always get that too close audio, like someone's talking right into your ear hole. Just feels like you're talking too close. There is just something unnatural about your voice's proximity to the microphone. On my first feature film, I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, we used both a boom and lav mics to record the audio. And when mixing the sound, I would always opt to try and clean up the boom audio rather than deal with all of this close talking. If we think about our position when listening to people talk, it feels natural to get more of the ambient room sound and sense of distance between the speakers, as this is what we are used to hearing in everyday life. And this sense of distance is often removed by using lavs. This is why on corporate work and my films, I always try for a boom option. But the reality is that sometimes for the purposes of speed or movement, or because the ambient noise in a room is so bad, a lav mic is going to be necessary. So it's often going to be part of any filmmaker's kit. I'm waiting. I was originally using the Saramonic UW Mic 9 as my go-to lav kit. I found these microphones to be generally pretty good, with solid enough audio, and offered great value for money. But I was always struggling to conceal the bulk of the microphone's receivers. There'd always be an antenna sticking out of someone's back pocket or a curious bulge in their pants. I mean, is that a Saramonic UW Mic 9 in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? Oh, it's the Saramonic. You're not pleased to see me. It's also very easy to damage the antennas when constantly packing them into your gear bag. Enter Rode's original Wireless Go. This was, at least for me, a legitimate game changer. Having a wireless microphone of this size suddenly made using this more frequently as my main audio source something I was much more interested in. The transmitter could fit pretty much anywhere. And suddenly, there was no more butt battery packs being exposed. And just as important as its small form factor was the fact that it offered over 6 hours of battery life. If you know my channel, you know I really can't stand poor battery life. And having to constantly swap out batteries in the Saramonic led to many takes being ruined when the batteries needed changing halfway through. When he who shall not be named struck, myself and my DOP decided to shoot a short film in lockdown. The problem is we had no crew, and specifically no soundy. So we needed a new method of audio recording. Enter the Rode Wireless Go. We used this for any action or shots requiring movement, and it worked absolutely flawlessly. Not only that, but it would normally last an entire day's worth of filming, if we were making sure to turn it off in between scenes. This really opened my eyes to how useful this tiny lav could be, because as indie filmmakers, we're always trying to save a buck. And one of the more expensive things on a low budget shoot is going to be your soundie. You see, soundies are a rare breed in the film industry. You can't really coerce them into doing things affordably simply by appealing to their artistic integrity. Good sound should not really be noticed when watching a film, so you can't really pay them in exposure. You have to go the old-fashioned route and pay them in money. But developing a two-pronged approach of George Costanza, a trusty C-stand boom operator for any static shots, and using the Wireless Go as a backup and for any shots involving movement worked perfectly. Do I recommend not having a soundy on set? Hell no. Sound is vital and should be paid a deep amount of respect whenever possible. Our method is easy to get wrong, and listening to your sound while shooting adds another layer of complexity and distraction when you should be focusing on the image itself. It's easy to forget you also need to keep monitoring your audio. However, sometimes it's just not financially possible to get negative fill-in to record your audio. I mean, how's it sounding, Phil? It sucks and no one likes you. And that's when we as indie filmmakers need to get creative. These Rode Wireless Go microphones give you an incredible amount of freedom and flexibility on set. And to my untrained ears, they also sound really good. Not Sennheiser good, but certainly good nonetheless. So what's the catch? Well, there were a few things that meant the Wireless Go wasn't perfect. For starters, it's on a wireless 2.5 GHz frequency, which allowed for its insanely small size and long battery life. But this is not the same as being on a more powerful wide UHF frequency range, like the Saramonic. Basically, in the field, the Rode was more likely to have interference or audio dropouts depending on where you were recording. Also, you could not split the stereo tracks easily with one transmitter on the Rode Wireless Go. So essentially, you had to buy a whole extra receiver and transmitter if you wanted to record more than one person, while the Saramonic offered the ability to run two transmitters into one receiver and record two people at once. And that's where the Rode Wireless Go 2 comes in, and almost single-handedly fixes all the problems of the original Go. For starters, it now comes in a 2-transmitter pack, which can record 2 stereo tracks to its dual receiver unit. This means that you don't have to take up both your audio inputs with the Wireless Go's. And if you want to record more than one person's audio, you don't have to buy a whole second receiver and transmitter. You can now record 2 people into one of your camera's audio channels and keep your second audio input spare for a backup shotgun microphone on the camera or boomed over your subjects. Being able to record 2 people onto one track in stereo is incredibly useful for sit-down interviews or scenes between 2 characters, and it's great to see that Rode listen to the feedback around this. In fact, if the only improvement over the original Go was this, it'd probably be worth the upgrade. But wait, there's more. The Wireless Go 2 also has a boosted frequency range. The units have been specifically optimized for use in areas with high levels of RF activity to ensure minimal interference regardless of where you're shooting. This should mean improved range and less interference and dropouts than the original. But those maniacs at Rode didn't stop there. The Wireless Go 2 transmitters can also now record up to 24 hours of compressed audio and 7 hours uncompressed audio into the actual units themselves. This is like a type of backup or failsafe if you lose connection with the camera and receiver. No need to worry, it can all be recovered via this backup audio, simply connecting the transmitters to the Rode Central app. So you're now protected against dropouts. Hallelujah! But those unhinged Rode developers haven't stopped there. Most recently, a firmware update has made it possible to do this backup recording without having to have the receiver powered on. This turns the transmitters into mini field recorders you can use independently without any type of connection. Just use the Rode Central app to activate this setting, and you have a pair of backup audio recorders. Just turn them on and forget about it. But the certifiably insane engineers at Rode didn't stop there either, because you can plug the receiver into your computer via the USB cable and use your Wireless Go as podcasting microphones. That's right, and you can bet your sweet ass that using these is going to be a hell of a lot better than Zooming your mates with your computer's inbuilt microphone. This is an audio test with the Rode Wireless Go 2 plugged straight into my computer, and I just have the little cube sitting on me here. So this is the microphone, and this is how it sounds running directly into the computer, as my audio interface. This is the audio quality of the internal microphone on the MacBook M1, the MacBook 13-inch Pro. So this is what it sounds, and this is how it sounds different to the Rode Wireless Go 2. And this is recording directly into my MacBook Pro 13-inch using the Rode Wireless Go 2. This time I have a lavalier microphone attached to the Go 2, and this is what the audio sounds like. But the lunatics at Rode Arkham Engineering Asylum didn't stop there either, because the Rode Central app allows you additional features, such as the activation of a -20 dB second track safety channel to avoid peaking, and expands the degree of gain adjustment from 3 levels to 10 for even finer audio adjustment when using the transmitters. Are you for real, G? So yes, the Go 2 has some incredibly awesome additional features, but does it sound any different? Let's do some tests. This is an audio test with the original Rode Wireless Go, just using the Silly Cube's inbuilt microphone, recorded on the C200 through one of its XLR ports. This video is not brought to you by Artlist, Squarespace, or Storyblocks, but by my new feature film, Older, available free on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. Link in the description. This is an audio test with the Rode Wireless Go 2, just using the Silly Cube's inbuilt microphone, recorded on the C200 through one of its XLR ports. This video is not brought to you by Artlist, Squarespace, or Storyblocks, but by my new feature film, Older, available free on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. Link in the description. This is an audio test with the original Rode Wireless Go and the Rode Go Lavalier Microphone, recorded on the C200 through one of its XLR ports. This video is not brought to you by Artlist, Squarespace, or Storyblocks, but by my new feature film, Older, available free on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. Link in the description. This is an audio test with the Rode Wireless Go 2 and the Rode Go Lavalier Microphone, recorded on the C200 through one of its XLR ports. This video is not brought to you by Artlist, Squarespace, or Storyblocks, but by my new feature film, Older, available free on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. Link in the description. Okay, alrighty, so we should be recording now. This is a test. We're going to do a range test with the Rode Wireless Go, which is attached here by this lapel. Now, I don't really know why we do these range tests, because if you think about it, how far away are you really going to be? But this is another range test. Now I'm about 10 feet away, so now I'm 10 feet away from the camera, and I'm just going to keep going. So this is a sight test, and this is a test here. So now I'm about 20 feet away, 20 feet with the camera. You know, these range tests are a little bit strange, because surely you're never going to be this far away from the camera, really, but this is another range test. Now I'm about 30 feet away from the camera, so say it's 200 feet, so we better keep going 200 feet, I suppose. So I'm just going to keep going. Hopefully you can see me there. Yeah, so now I'm about 50 feet away from the camera. And I guess I'm just going to keep going. Hey, wait! What are you doing? That's my 6K Pro! God damn it! Give me back that camera. That camera is my son! That camera is my son! That camera is my whole life! God damn it! Yeah! That's right. You picked the wrong damn YouTuber. So, is this the perfect wireless microphone system? No. So what is wrong with it? Well, first let's look at the Rode Central app, because this is where the headaches begin. To put not too fine a point on it, the Rode app kind of sucks balls. For all the technical innovations this system brings to the table, the least technically innovative is the app itself. For some reason, the way to do all these fine controls on the Wireless Go 2 and unlock these additional functions requires the use of the app. But the app at the time of recording only works on your computer, not on your phone, or at least not on iOS. So if you ever want to use the app on set, you're going to have to bring your computer along with you.
What are you doing?
I'm just bringing my computer to set because I want to use the Rode Central app. Recording backup audio directly into the transmitters is great, except that they automatically start recording whenever you turn the transmitters on. You can't stop them recording unless you go back into the Rode Central app and turn them off. But there's no button on the transmitters to control this function. They're either recording or they're turned off. Why is this a problem? Well, what happens if you forget to turn your transmitters off? What if you end up recording in between scenes or setups? You've potentially recorded hours of audio that you will then have to skip through later to get to the actual audio recordings you're looking for. The inflexibility of activating or deactivating this setting through the app and then only having it record automatically whenever the transmitters are switched on doesn't really take into account the likelihood of all the f***ing around that happens before and after you've filmed an interview or scene. It would be nice to have a manual control for this on the Go 2 transmitters themselves to avoid all the excess audio you wind up recording via the current method. This comes to point number 2. The only way to get all that audio off these transmitters is through the Rode Central app. If you don't take the footage off, it will just start writing over the audio again once the internal cards are filled up. And I don't think you should start writing over that old audio once the transmitter is full. It would be so much more helpful for it to stop recording so you know it's time to transfer and back up that audio. But the real problem is to get the audio off, you need to drag it into a new folder. Except you can't do this in batches. That's right, you have to export each audio clip individually, one at a time. It's also not a quick process. A 30-minute audio clip took 57 seconds to export. So you could waste huge amounts of time just doing this process because the batshit crazy app engineers at Rode forgot you might have more than one clip you'd like to transfer. And that's only if the export works. As I exported a clip, the Rode Central app would sometimes just crash in the middle of the export, meaning each clip might take multiple attempts to finally get onto your computer. You could spend a lot of your time looking at that stupid green export bar. There needs to be a way to select multiple audio clips to import in at once. And while it's nice to have additional options in the Rode Central app, wouldn't it be good to be able to access and control all of these features using the buttons on the transmitters and receivers? Do these fine adjustments really have to be limited to app control? What if you forgot your computer that day on set? It is absolutely crucial that Rode release a mobile version for this app to properly interface with the transmitters on set. Charging the Rode Wireless Go 2 is another area that just isn't very practical. You have 3 USB cables that you can plug into powered outlets to charge, and you get this large pouch bag to put them in. Well, charging 3 USB cables requires 3 USB ports, and that's not something that's always available on a shoot. One unifying charge cable that charged all 3 at once would be much better. Or a charging box like the Wireless Go 2's direct competitor, the Saramonic Blink 500 Pro B2. As it is, charging can often be a hassle, and losing one of the USB cords at a crucial time could be problematic. The aforementioned carry pouch is also not quite big enough to fit wireless Go's, the charge cables, the 3.5mm cable, and lavalier microphones all at once. This is also a bit of an oversight when trying to cleanly and conveniently store everything you need to record audio all together. You also get an impractically short 3.5mm cord to plug your receiver into your camera. Why is it so short? Why is it not flexible and coiled? Again, just doesn't quite feel like these things have been implemented with as much thought as all the handy audio features the Go 2 comes with. The transmitters also come with this stylish toupee, which you can clip on if your wireless Go 2 is feeling self-conscious about being bald. And this comes to my final and biggest issue with the Go 2. My least favourite thing about new gear purchases? Hidden costs. And there is absolutely a concealed cost when purchasing this system. Lavalier microphone solutions normally come with actual lavalier microphones. This is a pretty standard expectation, but the wireless Go 2 system doesn't. That means if you want to use lavalier microphones with this lavalier microphone recording system, you have to purchase them separately. Say you pick up the Rode Lavalier Go microphone for $80 and you have to buy 2 of these for each transmitter. Suddenly, you've spent an extra $160 just to have your wireless system function like every other wireless recording system available. I hate when companies force you to buy additional equipment to use their products as truly intended. It seems a little underhanded, a little devious, and well, evil. So what is Rode's excuse? Well, the transmitter units themselves have inbuilt microphones, so technically you don't need lavalier microphones to record audio. Just clip a receiver onto your shirt and you're good to go. But for me, this is a cop-out. This is not a professional solution. It looks stupid, it's distracting, and as small as these transmitters are, they still do not provide an appropriate way to record audio for either films or corporate interviews, especially when almost all their competitors are supplying lav mics bundled together with their compact wireless systems. But to illustrate my point, let's take a look at Rode's own videos about their products. You see, Rode have decided they're also YouTubers now. And they like to give us these updates about the wireless Go 2 from these really ridiculously good-looking staff at Rode, who are definitely not actors pretending they're part of the company. Just look at these updates. Yes, Helena, you may be totally babin, but you're also a total hypocrite, because that is a lavalier microphone poking out the top of your t-shirt. And yes, even though it's white on white, we can still see it. Oh, hello, Ryan. I see you have another update about this great Rode product, and I can also see you're not using that great product without a lav mic. So yeah, I call bullshit. Bottom line, most people will need to buy lav mics to use the wireless Go 2 in the most optimal way. So lav mics should come packaged with it, just like its nearest competitor, the Saramonic Blink 500 Pro 2. Which is the same price and also has that handy charging case. So what's the final verdict? Ultimately, the super rich features of the Go 2 still make it a no-brainer purchase for most people, especially if you already have lav mics which you can use with it. But if I was particularly poor and didn't have the extra money to fork out for lav mics, I would definitely consider the Saramonic Blink 500 Pro 2. But the Saramonic system does not have inbuilt recording for its transmitters. And for me, this was the key feature that made me surrender to the corporate overlords at Rode Enterprises and purchase the wireless Go 2. If you can get past the hidden cost and rather mediocre app integration, this is an excellent wireless audio recording setup. Dare I say even revolutionary, that I am using now on a majority of my shoots. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing, as I'll have lots more videos about tools you can use to help you as a filmmaker. My name is Guy Pigden, I am the Savage Filmmaker, and I'll catch you on the next one. Don't fall asleep. 1, 2 roads coming for you. 3, 4, use the app record. 5, 6, switch to stereo mix. Hello? 7, 8, don't YouTube too late. Anyone? 9, 10, lights out again. You put the wrong YouTuber! Yeah.